The shocking truth about the Nephilim. Were they really giants among us? Few knew what truly happened that night in the Valley of the Giants. Shadows danced under a shroud of darkness. Lightning crackled in the distance, illuminating massive forms lurking in the shadows. They were said to be the Nephilim, the fallen ones, born of the union between the daughters of men and the sons of God. Legends whispered their names, trembling at the tales of their might and stature that dwarfed even the tallest olive trees. In ancient days, long before the flood washed the earth, these giants roamed the land. People shared stories around flickering fires, wide-eyed and gasping, about how they could crush a man with a single hand or uproot a tree as if it were nothing. Yet, who really were these figures that walked among mortals? They were the product of divine intrigue, a betrayal of cosmic order that sparked a ripple of chaos across creation. The sun had barely risen over Mesopotamia, casting a golden hue over the rugged terrain. The townsfolk, cautious and curious, stared wide-eyed as they heard the faint thud of footsteps shaking the ground beneath them. Could it be? Men clutched their children close, a cold shiver racing down their spines as they recalled the tales of their forefathers. Each night, whispers filled the air. Strange sightings of immense shadows moving silently, figures so towering that the clouds seemed to bow before them. And yet, something puzzled the elders of the community. Why did they come? The Nephilim, if they existed, were inexplicably torn between heaven and earth. Their presence brought both awe and terror. Some claimed they possessed immense wisdom, while others spoke of an insatiable hunger for destruction. Which was true? Were they mere figments of nightmares? Or did they truly walk the earth, wreaking havoc? As the tension thickened, restless hearts begged for answers. Meanwhile, a chilling breeze swept through the valley, showcasing an unseen struggle against fate. The very ground hummed with their energy, vibrating through the hearts of every soul present. Parents tugged at their children's arms, urging them to flee or hide, but the gut-wrenching fear felt intoxicating. Would they witness true greatness or find themselves crushed under a giant's foot? Suddenly, a howl cut through the air, a sound both beautiful and terrifying, drawing nearer with each breath. The villagers glanced furtively at one another, eyes wide with fear and disbelief. What was this calling? What were the Nephilim searching for? As hushed tones echoed among them, questions unanswered, clarity eluding them, their hearts beat louder. And then, silence fell. What lay ahead? Would they dare confront the unknown? Or retreat into the safety of the shadows, allowing the legend to die quietly in their hearts? Hey! Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a crimson veil over the valley, an eerie stillness enveloped the land. The townsfolk huddled together, their eyes locked on the tree-line where the shadows lurked, waiting and watching, as if the very essence of fear had solidified into a tangible presence. Whispers passed through the group like a nervous breeze, each word laden with ancient dread and curious intrigue. Among them stood Micaiah, a youth not yet marked by the burdens of adulthood. His heart raced not only with fear but with longing. He yearned to unravel the enigma of the Nephilim, drawn to the mysteries they embodied, the legends that shaped his world. He had heard the elders tell stories of their great size, and how their eyes mirrored the very heavens, filled with starlight and sorrow. Micaiah believed there must be a reason for their return, to deliver a message, perhaps, or to seek something lost. As night fell, the villagers began to light torches. The flickering flames battled against the encroaching darkness, pushing back against the fear that crept into their hearts. In the center of the gathering, an elder, renowned for his wisdom in interpreting dreams and omens, raised his staff high, demanding silence. With a voice steady yet soft, he spoke of an ancient prophecy, one that had been handed down through generations, a tale of giants who had once walked the earth but had vanished from memory, save for the warnings passed down through time. They were not merely beings of flesh, but manifestations of a struggle within creation, the elder intoned, the flickering torchlight casting shadows across his weathered face. They were born from the union of divinity and humanity, a marriage forged in a world teetering on the brink of chaos. Their existence has left echoes not of destruction alone, but of a longing for connection, for understanding. Micaiah could feel the intensity of the elder's words wrapping around him. A shiver of profound recognition washed over him. He had always felt like an outsider, caught between the whispers of his ancestors and the pull of the unknown. He marveled at the thought of beings who, like him, yearned to belong, yet faced rejection from both realms, neither fully divine nor merely human. As the elder spoke, the clouds thickened, shadowing the valley in an ominous darkness. Suddenly, a low rumble rolled across the landscape, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. Panic erupted in the crowd, children cried, and mothers held them close, fearing the worst. But Micaiah remained still, peering into the depths of the shadows that now appeared more tangible than ever. The earth seemed to whisper secrets only he could hear, a calling that stirred something deep within his being. "Stay your hearts," the elder pleaded as fear clawed at the gathered crowd. "This may be the night of revelation, the moment to understand why they return." Micaiah felt his heart flutter with hope amidst the fear. What truth lay hidden in the return of the Nephilim? Did they seek retribution or redemption? The prospect ignited his spirit like the very torches that illuminated the night. Then, a soft glow began to materialize within the tangle of Shadowsa light that pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. With mixed emotions swirling in his heart, Micaiah stepped forward, drawn to the radiance, a spark of courage igniting within him. The villagers, still trembling, watched as he approached the source of the light, uncertain whether to follow or retreat deeper into their fears. Was he a fool? Or, perhaps, the first to uncover a purpose hidden for eons? In that moment, the questions flooded through him. Were the Nephilim a warning or a promise? Were they the key to understanding the intricate tapestry of creation, woven together with threads of light and shadow? As he reached out toward the gleaming form, the air around him crackled with ancient energy, heavy with uncertainty and wonder. What happened next would echo across the ages and shift the destinies of many. But in that instant, all Micaiah could feel was the question hanging heavily in the air. Were the Nephilim truly giants, or were they reflections of the giants within each of us? As the light grew brighter, Micaiah found himself at the edge of a new realm, where time seemed to suspend itself in the gentle embrace of luminescence. The chanting of the villagers faded into a distant murmur, their fear mingling with awe as the atmosphere vibrated with a shared anticipation. The soft glow began to take shape, revealing not the monstrous form of a giant but rather a figure cloaked in ethereal light, radiating an otherworldly grace. "What do you seek?" The voice was not loud but echoed within him, resonating like a forgotten melody that stirred memories he did not know he possessed. Micaiah's breath caught in his throat as he realized the voice belonged to one who was no ordinary being, but perhaps a Nephilim, a bridge between the earthly realm and the celestial. "I seek understanding," Micaiah replied, gripping the pendant that hung low on his chest, a family heirloom that pulsed warm against his skin. "They speak of you in hushed tones, but I sense you are misunderstood. Are you here to harm us, or to guide us?" The figure's presence enveloped him, and for a fleeting moment, Micaiah felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, as if he were cradled in the arms of the universe itself. The Nephilim smiled gently, the hint of sadness in their luminescent gaze reaching deeply into Micaiah's spirit. "It is not harm we bring, but awareness," they replied. "Long have we wandered in shadows, tales twisted into nightmares through fear and misunderstanding. We are echoes of a forgotten historia, blending of creation's essence and ambition. Our return speaks of a crucial choice for humanity: to embrace the light or succumb to the shadows." With those words, a vision flooded Micaiah's mind, each detail sharper and clearer than the last. He envisioned the ancients wrestling with their own desires, seen as both guardians and tormentors by the world they sought to protect. He witnessed them engaging not in turmoil, but in a desperate search for meaning and connection, their colossal forms casting shadows that simultaneously nurtured and devoured. "Why must we face your return with fear?" Micaiah asked, his curiosity sharpening as the weight of the truth hung tantalizingly in the air. "Why must history repeat its pain?" "Because history reveals itself in cycles, repeating until the lessons are learned," the Nephilim replied, stepping closer yet remaining untouchable. "You are the next cycle, the keepers of stories that define your existence. Embrace what lies beneath the surface, your fears, your dreams, and the power of choice. The Nephilim are but reflections, shadows of worth and potential that reside within the hearts of humanity. It is up to you to uncover what is hidden." As the figure spoke of choices, Micaiah's heart pounded with the weight of destiny. He felt the whispers of his ancestors fluttering anxiously around him, urging him to listen, to act. The villagers stood motionless, caught between disbelief and the truth unraveling before their eyes. The elder's voice had woven a sense of purpose into their fear, but now, the fabric of reality seemed to stretch, offering not just a prophecy, but an invitation. Will you choose fear and silence, or will you seek understanding and forge a new path? The luminous presence asked, their essence flickering in the growing light that illuminated the valley. For within this decision lies the answer to the conflict that shaped your forebears. We are not merely giants. We embody the larger-than-life challenges you must confront within yourselves. A weighty silence enveloped the valley, broken only by the soft crackling of the torches and the gentle rustle of leaves. Micaiah turned back toward the villagers, their eyes wide with wonder and trepidation. Who among them would step forward to embrace the unknown? At that moment, Micaiah felt a stirring within his soul, a yearning for exploration, for a deeper understanding of himself and his people. He sought not only to heed the warnings of the past but to inspire courage in the hearts of those around him. Yet as he breathed in the electric tension hanging in the air, one question remained poignant in his thoughts. If the Nephilim embody the struggles within us, how do we begin to confront the giants of our own making? As silence stretched over the valley, Micaiah felt the unrelenting grip of uncertainty. The words of the Nephilim echoed in his mind, their weight heavy yet liberating. How do we begin to confront the giants of our own making? He turned once more toward the villagers, noting the mix of fear, curiosity, and nascent determination on their faces. "Let us heed the wisdom before us," Micaiah urged, his voice steadying as he sought to inspire courage within the crowd. "The true giants we face are not born of flesh and bone but lie within our spirits, our doubts, our anger, our pain. If we can confront these shadows within, we may find the courage to welcome the light." As he spoke, he noticed the elder among the villagers, her weathered face a canvas of both wisdom and weariness. "Micaiah, child," she spoke, her voice brittle yet resolute. "The tales of the Nephilim live in our hearts as much as they do in the earth. We fear what we do not understand. Are you certain these beings come in peace?" He nodded, trying to dispel the shadows of fear that clung to the hearts of his people. "They do not seek our destruction," he proclaimed, emboldened by the vision that lingered in his mind. "They are here to hold a mirror to our souls, to show us the strength we possess when we embrace our truths." The Nephilim shifted slightly, their luminescence shifting like twilight on water, inviting and enigmatic. "Speak with courage, Micaiah," they encouraged. "Let their fears be transformed by the light of your understanding. For too long have our stories been shunned, their lessons buried under layers of dread." "Tell us more," whispered a young man at the back, his eyes glistening with the hope of awakening. "Tell us how we can learn and grow." Micaiah turned to the ethereal being, sensing an unspoken request within the air. "Share with us the nature of your kind. What truths have you gathered in your long wanderings? What wisdom can guide us?" The Nephilim paused, their expression reflecting a depth of sorrow and hope that transcended time. "We were once revered as ambassadors of knowledge, bridging realms and sustaining balance, but pride and discord marred our legacy. The giants you fear are not those of my kind, but of the shadows that dwell within every heart: greed, hatred, ignorance. To confront them, you must first seek understanding, not only of us but also of yourselves. Embrace the stories of your ancestors, for within those tales lie the keys to your freedom. The cycle can be broken, but only with bravery ignited in unity. A ripple of energy passed through the crowd as villagers began to exchange glances filled with burgeoning realization. Old wounds started to surface, memories of loss, mistrust, and fear tangled with strands of hope and potential. Micaiah sensed that the moment was upon them, a crucial turning point wherein they could collectively embark on a journey toward understanding. What if we are unworthy of such greatness? Another voice called from the crowd, a voice dripping with doubt. What if we are bound to repeat the mistakes of our forefathers? Every choice, Micaiah replied, channeling the strength drawn from the Nephilim's presence, holds the possibility of transformation. The past is not a prison. It is a lesson. By acknowledging our inherent worth, despite our flaws, we have the power to rewrite our fate. As he spoke, a sudden wind swept through the valley, swirling vibrant leaves into a chaotic dance, a reminder of the breath of life itself, always moving, shifting, evolving. The atmosphere crackled with an unrefined energy that stirred the spirits of those present, igniting a flicker of hope. Micaiah, the elder, called once more, her voice steadier now. The ancients feared the unknown. How do we guide those still trapped in the cycle of fear? With that question piercing through the air, Micaiah turned his gaze toward the luminescent figure, seeking an answer that might cradle the souls of his people. Yet the Nephilim merely watched, their expression serene, as if they understood that the true power of revelation would not come from their words alone, but from the hearts and choices of those they addressed. In that moment, Micaiah realized the burden of truth. Each soul stood at the precipice of their own awakening, poised between fear and understanding, their choices ready to carve the path forward. As the villagers began to murmur amongst themselves, he felt the weight of destiny coalescing in the air, palpable and electric. A new question unfurled within him, begging for exploration. In the face of fear, will we find the courage to embrace the light, or will we retreat into the shadows of our doubts? As dawn broke over the valley, a gentle light spilled across the landscape, illuminating the faces of the villagers who had gathered under the ancient oak, their expression a blend of trepidation and resolve. The Nephilim stood sentinel, their presence an otherworldly blend of ethereal light and shadow, quietly encouraging Micaiah as he stepped forward, intent on guiding his people through the labyrinth of their doubts. With the cool morning breeze speaking in whispers, he began anew. Today we stand not just before the Nephilim but before ourselves, a reflection of our fears and desires. What we conceive as giants are often manifestations of our innermost struggles. Do you feel it? The call to confront the darkness within. The elder shifted her weight, her brow furrowing as she pondered the gravity of his words. But Micaiah, she interjected, her voice soothing yet resolute. What of the history that binds us? Our forefathers spoke of Warninga legacy steeped in tales of chaos spun by your kind. How can we move forward when the past threatens to overshadow our budding courage? Micaiah sensed the weight of that question, a spectral hand reaching back through time to flick at the edges of collective memory. He took a deep breath, collecting thoughts like marbles in his mind before releasing them into the air. The past holds lessons, yes, but it does not dictate our future. We are not defined by the shadows of those who feared change. Rather, we can glean from their mistakes the power to choose differently. The Nephilim shifted, a subtle ripple in their iridescent form, as one of them stepped forward, a quiet confidence suspending the tension in the air. You are right, Micaiah, but know this. The past's grip can only be unraveled through truth. Embrace it, not just the grand tales of valor and conflict but the full spectrum of what it means to be human. Acknowledge your fears, share your stories, and discover your shared humanity. Only then can you heal. The crowd fell silent, each individual lost in the depths of their consciousness, wrestling with the echoes of their history. Then, from the back, a timid voice rose, an illustrated portrait of uncertainty. What if our truth reveals something we cannot bear? What if the light hurts more than the darkness? Micaiah raised his hands, inviting the dialogue to flourish. He understood the hesitation. The heart often recoiled from revelation, fearing the mornings made possible by night. To face your truth is not to crumble under its weight, but to use it as a foundation for rebuilding. Embrace the discomfort. For in the desolation, there are seeds of hope. It is through acceptance that we find strength. With his words lingering like a gentle caress, the villagers began to murmur softly again, the tension in their shoulders easing ever so slightly. An emboldened spirit replaced their doubt, yet the questions still wove a tapestry of uncertainty. Would this fragile resolve withstand the storm of their inner battles? The elder rose once more, leaning heavily on her gnarled staff, glancing pointedly at the Nephilim. You speak of healing, but have you embraced your own truths? Where does wisdom truly lie when those who guide are fragments of their own histories? The Nephilim responded with a complex silence, as if acknowledging a path tangled in their own shadows. We are bound by our stories, 2 stories of loss and redemption, tales of glories and transgressions. Just as the skies above can darken and brighten, so too can we shift from light to shadow and back again. What we offer is a shared journey toward understanding, an exploration of the humanity that binds all beings, celestial and earthly. This revelation hung palpably among the group, shimmering as the dawn light poured through the branches. An intertwining of destinies unfolded before them, bridging the gap between decisions made and paths yet to be trodden. But as the sun climbed higher, illuminating the valley in warm hues, the echo of uncertainty returned like an unwelcome friend. Micaiah spoke softly, inviting each person to reflect. In understanding one another, do we dare to seek the truths hidden beneath our fears? What uncharted territories of the soul will we explore when we unite in vulnerability? As the sun bathed the valley in a golden glow, the villagers shared knowing glances, but the path ahead remained shrouded in mystery. Would they find the courage to step into the light, or would they falter before the giants of their creation? The village remained quiet, yet an electric ripple of anticipation seemed to pulse in the air as Micaiah waited for a response. Even the Nephilim, towering embodiments of memory and potential, appeared engaged in silent contemplation, as if their celestial gaze searched the human hearts before them. As moments stretched, a familiar voice rose from within the crowd, the voice of Eli, a young man often overshadowed by silence, who had always felt the weight of his own insecurities. But if we face our truths, he began hesitantly, what if they reveal that we are not as strong as we believe we are? What then? Can we still move forward together? His words cut through the tension with the rawness of vulnerability, and all eyes turned toward him. Micaiah nodded, recognizing the courage it took to voice such fear. Eli, what if strength is not in the absence of weakness, but in the willingness to acknowledge it? The greatest battles are not against the giants we perceive outside, but the ones we fight within ourselves. To be honest about our frailties is to forge a powerful bond among us. The elder stepped forward, her staff hitting the ground softly as she found her footing. Do you not see? Every legend, every tale of giants and monsters, reflects the struggles of the human condition. The giants may not need to loom over us as figures of dread. Rather, they can symbolize the very mountains of doubt that all of us face. The Nephilim's forms shimmered, delicate patterns sparkling with each sentence spoken, enhancing the wisdom that hung in the air. One moved closer to Eli, its radiant light revealing complexities of both fear and compassion. We have witnessed empires rise and fall, hearts break and mend, all woven through the unyielding tapestry of truth. Truth doesn't seek to extinguish, it ignites transformation. Understand this, we have all danced close to darkness. It is in acknowledging that dance we find our steps anew. Micaiah turned to Eli, whose brow furrowed with thought. What is your truth, Eli? This village is a web. Your thread matters just as much as any other. What if your voice could tip the scale toward understanding? Eli exhaled sharply, the exhale almost like a desperate plea. I've always felt different, like a stray leaf clinging to the branches, unsure if it should be part of the tree or float away alone. I fear being seen as weak, but I feel small in the shadow of giants, both within and among us. Micaiah was moved, realizing that Eli's honesty echoed the silent struggles of many gathered before him. And being different, does it not give you a unique perspective? Trust exists not only in strength but also in acceptance of one's place on this journey. Your truth can become a source of light to others who feel the same. Eli was silent for a moment, letting Micaiah's words wash over him like soothing rain. Slowly, he looked at the Nephilim and then back at the villagers, who bore expressions of empathy and concern. There, in that shared gaze, hope began to intertwine with doubt. Another villager, a woman with a long braid, spoke up. But what will happen when we expose our truths? Will the Nephilim stay, or will they leave us to confront our darkness alone? The Nephilim reacted, their form blending subtly, as if weighing the question. We are here not to guide you but to walk alongside you, one said gently. When you face your truths, you will find not abandonment but an array of support both celestial and human. Our celestial fabric is interwoven with yours. Healing is a collective journey. As the villagers absorbed this wisdom, the tension began to dissolve, yet uncertainty lingered. Would their bravery come at a cost? Would the truth reveal bonds stronger than fear, or would it forge a pathway to deeper isolation? Micaiah's gaze scanned the crowd, feeling the pulse of hope mixed with trepidation. Are we prepared to venture into our individual truths and share them collectively? Are we ready to embrace the discomfort, knowing it may lead us toward resilience? As whispers draped the air, the sun continued to ascend, burning brightly in the sky, yet an unanswered question remained, echoing like a persistent stream in the mind. What truths lie in the shadows waiting to be embraced, and what transmutations await the heart willing to wander? As the sun climbed higher, casting golden rays that filtered through the branches above, a hush fell over the gathering. Ella's hesitations hung palpably in the air, yet the courage touched by Micaiah opened an unexpected pathway of contemplation. The villagers, no longer merely silent spectators, were shifting in their understanding, the weight of their own truths pressing just below the surface. In the midst of this transformative silence, it was Rebecca, a woman with deep-set eyes full of secrets and tenderness, who broke through the veil of introspection. What if we uncover not just our fears, but hidden parts of ourselves that we have buried for too long? What if truth is not just an echo of our anxieties but also a revelation of our strengths? Her voice stirred the crowd into pondering a distinct possibility, a duality within the self where strength and vulnerability coexist. The elder watched Rebecca with a knowing smile, sensing the connection forming among the people. Indeed, dear ones, what we fear most is often the wellspring of our greatest gifts. But to reveal our truths requires a leap of faith, a trust in each other to catch us when we fall. Eli felt a flicker of hope igniting within him, yet shadows still loomed over his heart. And if our truths offend or alienate, what if revealing them creates rifts instead of connections? His apprehension mirrored that of many, spinning a web of doubt that was deeply woven into their collective consciousness. The Nephilim responded, their ethereal presence a balm amidst the turmoil. In every tale, every battle among your people, there lies a choice between clinging to fear or daring to nurture love. The giants within may rear their heads, but they can teach you the very nature of strength. When you unveil your hearts, the bonds may indeed stretch, but they will also transform. Nothing forged in truth is forever lost. It simply reshapes itself. Gradually, murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Some were nodding their heads, while others whispered conspiracies of shared experiences long tucked away. The mountain of doubt is familiar ground. A voice declared softly, beckoning others to find commonality in the battle against self-doubt and the gathering warmth of shared confidence. Micaiah spoke once more. What if we gather here not as individuals fearful of judgment, but as a collective seeking to understand our greater selves? Each truth shared is a step toward the illumination of the entire village. Will you stand together even as the landscape of your hearts shifts? The question stirred the souls of those present, fueling a blend of trepidation and resolve. Each villager's heart began to echo the question, what do we truly seek from this moment together? They turned toward one another, a tapestry of shared uncertainty weaving quietly among them.